Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 61 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series, where today I would like to make PCBs. These are one of the main components of the more advanced Pneumaticraft mechanisms and machines and stuff. So the goal for today is to get this crafted. However, it's a long production line. Let me show you the short production line first, and then I'll show you the longer one, because we have to do the long one before we can do the short one. So, to make these, we need capacitors, which are easy to make inside a pressure chamber, transistors, which are easy to make in a pressure chamber, and unassembled PCBs. Now, unassembled PCBs have two ways to make them. First, you can use the assembly platform, which you just take an empty PCB, which you can make in a pressure chamber, and you put it through the assembly machine line, and it'll make the unassembled PCB. Done deal. However, in order to get these machines, you need finished PCBs. So you can't make these machines until you get a few PCBs yourself. In order to get them the slow way, we need to etch a empty PCB which has been affected by a UV light box, which takes a little bit of time. So you have to make an empty PCB, same way as before in your pressure chamber, put it in a UV light box, and over time, it will increase the etching success chance up to 100. So if you leave it in there for a while, it'll eventually hit 100, and then you're good. And then you take that etch success chance of 100, or whatever you decide to leave it at, right? You can see there's many variations of it. You drop it in some etching acid in an etching tank, and it'll possibly turn into an unassembled PCB or a failed PCB, depending on the success chance. So if you give it a 100% chance, you'll definitely get your unassembled. If you don't let it etch all the way up and you want to roll the dice, you can, maybe go 50-50 or 75, and then you might get failed, you might not. Depends if you're lucky. So the goal is to get a handful of unassembled PCBs using this production line, enough to make the assembly controller, so that then we can get unassembled PCBs using the assembly line process, which is cool. So that's the goal for today, and we're going to jump right into it. So first thing we need to get is empty PCBs, and in order to get those, we're going to need some plastic sheets. In order to get plastic sheets, we have to cool down some of this liquid plastic that we've been making. So plastic, as we know from Pneumaticraft, is a liquid when you make it. And in order to make that, you need either biodiesel or LPG and some coal. And 100 LPG makes 1,000 plastic. So pretty good process. We then need to cool that down. So you can do this a few ways. I think the best way to do it is probably with a heat frame. So heat frames can cool down plastic, lava, or water into ice, I guess. Heat frame cooling, that's the approach we're going with. So let's make a heat frame and see if we can put it directly on the tank. So to make a heat frame, looks pretty straightforward. Cool. Now if I pop it on there, can I pop it on the tank or no? I think it has to go... Heat frame, I want to say, is the best way to do this. You can cool it in the world. So if we just got a bucket's worth of this, and we popped it into the world, you'll see that it cooled off and made plastic sheets. Easy peasy. It actually did it so fast I didn't even need to surround it. There you go. Now, if you... I want to say the book will tell me that there's a better way. And I'm pretty sure you can get a bonus to plastic if you do heat frame cooling. So let's search for plastic in here. Can be solidified simply by pouring it in the world. It will turn into plastic sheet within half a second or so. This is very easily automated with a liquid hopper, with a dispenser upgrade, and an omnidirectional hopper. Easy peasy. An alternative way is to place a bucket or tank of molten plastic into an inventory with a heat frame attached, and chill the heat frame, ideally below 80°. The colder the better. Molten plastic will be consumed from the bucket or tank, and you will have a chance for a second plastic sheet for each 1,000 millibucket of molten plastic consumed. All the Pneumaticraft pressurized fluid tanks have inventory slots and allow heat frames to be placed on them. Simply attaching a heat frame to a tank full of molten plastic won't work. The fluid tank must be in an item form in an inventory chest, etc., with the heat frame attached. Okay, good to know. So that means what we do is first we're going to get some coal. Bada bing, bada boom. Drop it in there. And then your job is to make a bunch of plastic and fill up this basic fluid tank. Then we're going to get a chest. And we're going to put our heat frame around said chest. Okay. Now, do you have heat applied to you? You kind of do. So you're heating those things up, which means that this side should be pretty cold, right? I would think so, right? So bottom temperature is... not that cold. I was hoping for more coldness. Seems to be cooling down more, but that's what we want. So it was distributing. So if we put the heat frame around the chest on the cold side of a vortex tube, the heat frame should get pretty cold. Look at that. Cool. Yeah, now we're cooking. Now we're getting nice and cold. Now we're in the cooling mode. Sweet. See the bottom temperature? Getting nice and cold. Now, alternatively, if this isn't cold enough, right, what temperature did we want to aim for? I mean, that's really not that cold. We're aiming for like negative 80 C, and you're only hanging around like, 0 or 1. So I'm going to say that may not be good enough. So let's throw our heatsink back on there and have a dedicated cooling spot. And I think that will be the way to go. So let me make another heatsink or so. That should be cool. Let's give me a bunch of those. Maybe more heat sinks than I needed, but whatever. And another vortex tube, if I may. That should be good. And we'll see how cold we can get things. So in order for you to be super awesome, right, where should I place this, you think? So you've got that going on. You're all nice and contained. You've got all that stuff cooking. Let's run... debating where I want this to live. But I'm thinking what we could do is probably have our vortex placed here. And that's heat on the top. What we want this time is heat on the bottom. Okay? So if I plopped this dude like... here, that would be heat on the bottom, cold on the top. And then we could have our chest and our heat frame here. And all we need to do is run pneumatic tubing behind this dude. And he can probably tap into here, right? So if we did boop, 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 that'll get him connected. He should be getting pressure now. And you can see him getting the top temperatures in the negatives. Awesome. Now the bottom temperature is going to get very hot, so we need to dissipate that heat, just like we did on the other stuff. So see how the bottom temperature is getting very hot, and the top temperature is very cold, which is nice. But dissipating this heat will definitely help to keep the top temperature super cold, which is what we want. Nice. All right, now if we take you and put you right in here, you should start... oh, you know what? This is a mechanism tank. He may not be good. What we probably need is a Pneumaticraft tank. Or buckets. We could just start with buckets. Right? So we throw a bucket of plastic in there, and we got 2 plastic sheets. Now, you'll also notice that the temperature went up a little bit. See? Watch the temperature. So it used some coldness. So, yeah. So let me come back in a sec. But that's more efficient, right? And that's cool. Literally. All right, so had a little break there because I had stuff to do. But the good news is we've backstuffed our oil. So that means we're definitely processing our oil fast enough with the current design. We've run out of bituminous sand, so I should probably pop into my dimension and see if I just mined everything or what the deal is with that. But, we'll figure it out. I'll probably have to move that miner every now and then, which isn't the end of the world. I can 100% handle that. Now let's handle getting the heat frame thing going. So what I'm thinking I might want to do is some kind of... how about a dispenser of some kind? Let's see, dispenser. What can you go into? I'm sure there's a lot of things. Pedestal, imperceptible... block breaker. Look at all these cool things. Block placer, item user. Maybe the item user. I could do item user. That sounds cool, right? Peat farm. Let's try the item user and see if I was just checking to see if I have one or not. Oh my, we have a lot of things that we have to make here. You need a dispenser, which means you need a bow. And then we need some tripwire hooks, and then we need some flint blocks ×3. Item user might be a cool way to do this, right? So if we were to set up you like so. Now, do you need power? I don't look like you have an RF tech need. Use item interaction, right click, hit attack target, left click. Yeah, that's what we want. Block interactions only, entity interactions only. That sounds cool. Requires redstone. I'm going to say always on. So if I give you a bucket, okay, that's cool. Now, it's possible, and I'm curious about this, but would it put the bucket back? So it runs every 20 ticks. So let's do this. Let's make it so that it very quickly extracts the bucket. So we'll probably want to laser IO this. And he's not in a great position, but he'll be fine. So what we'll probably want to do is on the down, and we're going to want speed upgrades for this. Okay. And we're going to want filters for this. So on the down, I would like you to extract on white. One item at a time should be plenty, but I want it to happen every tick, right? So very quickly, extract as fast as you can. The instant that you have the exact same tick that you get your bucket, I would like you to extract it. And we want to whitelist this a bucket of plastic. Okay. There should be a bucket of plastic here somewhere. Pneumaticraft bucket of molten plastic. Perfect. And because it's an item filter, it's going to be the actual bucket that it extracts. Cool. And then here on the opposite side, so east, we will insert and then extract on orange. And again, I want you to be pretty fast about it. An empty bucket. Okay. And then down here will be an insert on orange. Cool. This is the part where you do the thing. Do you think there's sidedness to this guy? No. So on the down, your item card, and on the east, you're inserting. Yeah, that should 100% be working. Why you know working? So you do have lasers rendering, which means you're connecting here. How about your extract? We'll try sidedness. Extract from the bottom. Your insert is whatever. So it shouldn't matter. This should work. I always feel like I'm forgetting something obvious when things don't work like this. Right? Let's try it this way. Well, you go back, right? So give me you. I do this. Boom. So it did go in. It got a bucket of molten plastic. And then you should be extracting that on the default side. Every tick, allow, channel white. I wonder if there's something wrong with the filter or if there's something wrong with something else. So what if we put a chest here and we moved this guy from down to west? So that tells me that the filter is not the problem. See? Because if the filter was the problem, this wouldn't have worked. So it's something weird with the with this guy, with the extraction of this thing. So on the down, we tried north. We can try all three sides. West. I'm thinking we're gonna have something kind of weird here. Let's try this. You ready? What we'll do is logistical transporter. Can you extract from here? You don't need to be a color. So yeah, he's not extracting the bucket. He's not extracting the bucket. He's not extracting the bucket. That's gonna stink. All right, that might be the problem. I think we can't extract from the item user unless I'm missing something very obvious, which is 100% possible because it's me. But with that said, we're gonna have to use something else. All right. So what we could also do is a fluid encapsulator. I could have you auto input from the left, right, and he'll fill up fluids, and then I can have you input and extract from the top. So if I put this empty bucket in there, he should go in here, he should get filled up, and then boom. Is that cool? Now that's cooling off too fast, so we probably want this to slow down a little bit, okay? Or it's not cooling off fast enough, let's put it that way. So let's slow it down a little bit. So then what we'll do here is I'm going to change your extract side to be every, that's the transfer amount, 20 ticks, so every second. So that should ideally be long enough for it to cool down again before it extracts and reinserts. Nope, not long enough. So how about every 2 seconds? It's because it's cycling. It's because of the way the cycling works. Because it extracts, and then the 2 seconds it doesn't start counting from the moment it goes in. It starts counting from the moment it extracted. So we should probably say every 4 seconds. Now the other thing we can do, which is cool, is on the east side here, we can do a sensor card for a specific amount of plastic, right? From Pneumaticraft. And what we can basically say is if you have 64 plastic, emit a channel white signal. And then here, your extraction can only run when the white signal is active, right? So because, or inactive, I guess is what we would want, right? Signal low. So once you detect that you've got enough plastic in here, you'll emit your sensor signal, and then you'll be cool. Okay. So let's see if that's long enough of a delay. So he should cool down to 273 again, and then insert. That's perfect. 4 seconds is a good timer, right? And then once we hit 64 or more, it should stop cycling. And then it'll start again once I take some plastic out. Is that cool? I think that sounds cool. That sounds fun to me. Sounds neat. As long as you can get back up to 273, which is what we want, right? We want it back down to 273 before it crafts again, which looks like 4 seconds is like the perfect timing for it. I like that. And then it's out. Oh, no, it's not going out anymore because we hit 64. Nice. That's cool. That works really well. Look at that. Cool. And then if I borrow some plastic, hey, give it to me. He's going to start running again. And then we'll get more plastic. That's how we do it. That's what's up. I like that. That is a fun bit of automation attempt there. All right, so now that we've got that covered, took a little longer than I thought, but that's okay. So I'm going to teach this guy that this is the way, okay? And you'll be able to make PCBs for me now. So that should be you, Mr. Pattern Provider, and we're no, you actually already had that. We already had a processing pattern for empty PCB. So never mind. So then I should be able to oh, I know what the problem is. Dyer is smart. I never reactivated this guy. right? So get me some cable. Right, bring you online. And what did I have here? Just one of these. Bring you online. And now we should have PCB auto crafting available to us. Nice. Missing that. Why is that part of the recipe? Oh, well, that's why. So I have the wrong one in there. My bad. So we will replace you with this recipe. Now you should be able to make PCBs for me. Right? Who's popping in that? You should pop in the next guy soon. There he goes. And now for the plastics. The door open, plastic, door close. And he spits it out. And now we should have empty PCBs. Cool. And if we want to speed that up, we can get some speed upgrades, which I probably will. I've got a lot of lubricant available, and we're probably already backstuffing on diesel and LPG again. So we're going to have to handle the backstuffing of fluids. That's definitely something we're going to want to handle. And we're also going to have to figure out why bituminous sand is stopped already. Probably, maybe, I don't know. So now that this is done, we want to etch these in a UV light box, okay? Now, UV light boxes are fun because there's a fun little crafting mechanic we need to do. I need a PCB blueprint, which I have to get with the Amadron tablet. So let's make ourselves an Amadron tablet because these are fun. So we're going to need an air canister, and we're going to need a GPS tool. And then we can make ourselves an Amadron tablet with the plastic that we've got. We also need a charging station from Pneumaticraft. That would be you, the charging station. Cool. And this guy's job is to charge things with pressure. Now, I want to say the air pressure comes in from behind, not the bottom, right? Or no, it can accept from the bottom. Sweet. So if I pop that guy in there, he should start charging up. And he's going to equalize the tablet with the pressure in the pipes. So if your pipe pressure is sitting around 4, that's about as good as you're going to get with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow this basic fluid tank. And can I turn you into... Isn't there a lubricant recipe here? I thought I could just use this guy right here. Isn't that a thing, being able to do that? Bucket mode, no. What if I put you into bucket mode? Yes. Bucket mode on. Now he's acting like a bucket. Aw, I was really hoping that would be cool. What if instead... Oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Get me an actual bucket now, because I've made a mess. What if instead we did thermal crafter that handles fluids? Sequential fabricator? Does that sound cool? That should be cool. Yeah. So if we ran some RF power into here, I'm just 100% abusing flux networks at this point. And then we set the pattern for this guy. Can I not JEI click this guy in here? So 4 sugar and 4 lapis. And the bucket. If I'm not mistaken, by doing that, if I put this and this and this in here, he should be able to craft it, right? But then in addition to that, if I got sugar and lapis, and then we told you to pull in from the right side, boom. That's what's up. That is what's up. Now we're cooking. Ain't that cool? All right, I'm down with that. Can I have a few more sugar just to clear out the remaining lapis here? Perfect. Cool. And then you can get a few upgrades if you want. That would be upgrading the Amazon tablet, I think. So we put these here, and then you should be able to charge things a little bit faster. So your pressure's sitting around 2.9 bar in the tablet. That should be enough. All right, let's go outside because we need to be outside for this part. I'm assuming we need to be outside. I don't actually know. But let's get an Amazon system up and running. So to do that is super fun. We just place a chest in the world. And I really need to organize my inventory as usual. It always gets messy. Close enough. And I think we just shift right click that, and then we can open it up and we can place an order. Cool. So give me some emeralds. What I want is not the engineer, this guy. I want one of these. So right click to items, out of items to sell. I don't know what that means. +1 right click. Let's put these in here first before I do this. So this is the PCB blueprint. There we go. And did it do it? Orders in basket. I feel like it's being weird. Isn't it just right click this dude? Orders in basket 1. Now we're cooking. Place order. Now we should be cool. And then Amazon will send a drone for me. And he'll take my emeralds. And after he receives his payment, he'll send another drone here to deposit my PCB blueprint. And as you can see, there are many other types of things that we can order from Amazon if we so desire. Cool. And you're done. Nice. Now, let's get our light box up and running. So for that, do you think the light box can sit on the ground next to... Well, not there. Where should I put the light box? I may not want this to live here forever. Probably don't. Maybe I do. I don't know. New daily offers are available. Yay! It's pretty cool, right? I love that. I love the Amazon tablet. I really do. I think it's just a fun little dude. So if I stick that down, okay, threshold's 100%. He gets his pressure, and then all we do is pop this guy in here, and then UV light activated. Okay. Now we can also throw some speed upgrades in here, and we can see that it's going to etch a lot faster with speed upgrades than not. Like a lot faster. But it's obviously, as one would expect, going to use pressure a lot faster. But luckily we have a large pressure chamber supplying us with a large buffer of pressure. Okay? So that's pretty cool. See, look how much faster the needle's dropping because I threw 8 in there. But it's also etching a lot faster, which is cool. Nice. Okay. And then you... go into some etching acid in the etching tank. So that's something we're going to need next. Okay, so etching tank will go here with this. Thought you were crafting those. And this. Now we're good. Okay. Do you need pressure or heat or anything? Looks like you need heat. And that's about it. Is that right? And you need some etching acid. Fill the tank with some etching acid. Cool. So to get etching acid is not too hard. We just need a bucket of it, and that is made in the pressure chamber with 2 gunpowder, a bucket of molten plastic, rotten flesh, and spider eye. Okay, so let's add that to the to-do here so I can keep track. So 2 eyes, flesh, and gunpowder. Eye, flesh, and gunpowder. And then a bucket of molten plastic. Hooray! Yeah, we still got a little bit. Okay, and I can manually insert these things in here. There's nothing saying I can't. And by the way, it might be smart to insert a few speed upgrades in here as well. That will allow the door to open and close a lot faster. Boop. Now the output door is not going to be faster, but I could throw speed upgrades into that one too if I wanted to. Okay, and then do I just do that? Excellent. And then I put you, which is at 100%, into here, and then you should etch. Cool. And I don't know if there's speed upgrades available for this guy, but they're... Oh, you know what? I think the hotter it is, the faster it'll go. But luckily, I can speed it up. Cool. So this is a temporary setup, as a reminder, because once we get our assembly line going, we're going to tear most of this down. So let's make a few of these by hand the slow way, and then we'll get the assembly line set up. So I'm not going to bother automating this because it's going away soon. Fair? And that, my friends, is our first PCB. So now if I want to get the other components that I need, they're all going to go into here. Cool. So crafting is in progress. We got the transistor, and shortly we'll have our 2 capacitors. There you go. And we've got our first finished PCB. How cool is that? All right, so next episode we'll come back, we'll get a few more of these, and then we'll make the assembly line, and then we can have a bunch of cool stuff going on with Pneumaticraft. For now, Del20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.